Hello. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
I actually like that.
You do?
I like that.
That's what Mr. Rogers said in SpongeBob every time that came on. Right?
I hate you.
Nah. How is everybody doing? I did.
Up the
Yep,
Discord?
I did.
Cool.
Okay, we are doing dangling modifiers. That's what we're doing right now. These are fun. I do like these. They're basically non-essentials, and they're put in the wrong spot. So it's not that the commas in the sentence are wrong, and so the commas are wrong, or it's not non-essential. It is non-essential, but it's describing the wrong thing, and it matters how the sentence is set up. They're generally at the beginning of the sentence. You can have them at the end or midway through the sentence, but they generally pop up at the beginning. The most common example that I use, because it's pretty easy, is running down the street. Everything is creaking. Hey, stream elements, how are you? Oh. Running down the street, comma. Now we have a choice. We will either say Levi tripped on a rock, or a rock tripped Levi. Showing this to students in the past, I've had people say, well, a rock tripped Levi Levi tripped on a rock is passive voice because it's Levi tripping on a rock. It's not exactly passive voice, and so they choose a rock tripped Levi. That's not actually the issue here, because passive voice is not incorrect grammar. It's just not ideal grammar. So on the SAT and ACT, when you're dealing with anything in the English section / writing and language section, you care, one, about clarity. So this clarity encompasses correct punctuation, correct grammar, because if any of those things are wrong, then it's harder for the reader to understand what's going on, and they might understand the wrong thing. And then comes concision, which is the negative of that is often redundancy, but you want to be as concise as possible, say things quickly. What do we got here? Robot Dancer, can you rank these things from most important to least important in college apps, SAT, ACT, GPA recommendations? Recs are definitely at the bottom. Yes, I can. Just answer this now.
I come up with that, or you can.
Yeah, why don't you start writing those, and then you can explain them as soon as, because this is going to be
got
quick.
highlighted.
Yeah, and I don't know how to unhighlight it. It's fine.
Oh, good.
It'll be gone. Yeah. So after clarity is concision.
Can I write up in the top corner here? You're gonna
Yeah,
use
yeah, that's cool. And then after that, wow, is tone, or sorry, not tone. Formality.
Oh yeah.
Is this gonna work? No.
Recommendations. They mean like teacher.
I think teacher recs. Yeah.
Okay.
So formality.
I have the link to this, but I know for fact. No, I can salvage that.
Cool. Oh, very nice. Clarity, concision, formality. In this case, we are actually still dealing with clarity, whereas passive voice is more about concision. It's not unclear what's going on, it's just slower to get there. So, I was hit by Brendan is less concise than Brendan hit me, right? But this is not about that. It's still about clarity, because...
Recs then essay, or essay then recs?
I would say essay, I think.
I have the link to this on my computer. Not up, but
yeah, it's in that
it's
PowerPoint
we
yeah.
put together.
In this case, right before Brendan gets to that, we have this, which is a non-essential element, right? If we take it out, we just have Levi tripped on a rock or a rock tripped Levi. They both mean exactly the same thing. Nobody's confused. But we have this modifier here. It's a non-essential, and it's clearly describing the thing that follows. So it's describing one of these two things because it's next to it, and that actually matters. The proximity of a non-essential defines what it will define. So this is describing Levi in this case, and this is describing a rock in this case. But the rock one doesn't make sense because that's implying that the rock was running down the street, in which case we would have to capitalize rock, and
it'd be Dwayne.
That would be super awesome.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Exactly. If the rock tripped me.
As if I could let him trip me, but I'd be okay with him tripping me.
Yeah. I don't think he could trip me.
He's a cool guy.
He's a very cool guy.
I think. I don't know.
Not as cool as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Remember that? Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was early Rock Johnson. Huh? Okay.
Man.
This is a dangling modifier in this case. The dangling modifier means it's the negative. It's incorrectly used. Now this can happen in different ways. So if we say something like Brendan goes to the room with a chair.
Really
I'm going to think about a better example of this with something in the middle of the sentence. But be very aware of this. When you have modifiers, things that are non-essentials that are describing other stuff, be very careful that it's not describing the wrong thing. It has to make sense in context. So the number one thing I would pay attention to in sentences that you're reading is if the beginning part of the sentence, if this first phrase before you hit a comma doesn't have a subject. So here it's clearly we have this verb, but nobody's running yet. We don't say Levi is running or the rock is running. We just say running down the street. We're going to be immediately followed by the subject of the sentence, and that needs to be Levi in this case. Okay, Robot Dancer, if you're still, you're still here, I'm sure, so why don't you pay attention to it? Brendan has to tell you, and Brendan will tell you very soon.
Do I need to be up there for this?
Oh, do you want me to?
I'm in the middle of trying to do a lot of the stuff for the stream that...
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, Robot Dancer. Number one is your AP GPA. It's basically your performance in higher level classes. They care about how high the level of classes that you take is, and they want you to do well in those classes. So if your high school offers one AP class, or let's say your high school offers none, and you don't take any, they're not going to blame you for it. But if your high school offers 20 and you don't take any, they're not going to like that as much. They want you to take the harder classes at your high school, and then they want you to do well. And then we care about the SAT and ACT, whichever. They don't care about one more than the other. And then essay, your Common App essay and whatever other supplements they may give you. Then your recommendations from teachers, then your extracurriculars. Sometimes these can be switched. At that point, it gets a little messy. Your grades matter the most. For sure, your grades matter the most. Nothing else comes close.
Correct.
Brendan agrees. Sorry. Maybe just, go back. Whatever. Okay. Do you have any follow-up questions to that, Robot Dancer? I sure hope not. Actually, that's not true. I do hope you do. Or any other questions? Robot Dancer, are you still taking a test, or are you done with tests?
Well, if they're asking about that, they're probably a junior.
Yeah. But maybe you're done. Maybe you're not. I think, Robot Dancer, you've been around long enough to know that we do college application-related streams when that's happening. We're just not really doing that now. So there's no point. Clarity, concision, formality. We're still on clarity with these things. I think we're... Oop.
Chesky?
Oh, I don't see it.
Chesky and Sapien?
I don't see it at all.
So Chesky says, what's the last one you see?
I see Robot Dancer, and that's it.
What did he say?
Essay is the main question. So this is just not working.
Then you're getting none of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Read this real quick.
Sure.
And I'll refresh it.
Very good. Sorry, everybody. Oh, wow. This is
a lot.
a
Also,
lot of
hey
stuff
Sapien,
that I missed.
hey Chess Guy, hey people.
Hi, hey, everybody. I apologize for not seeing all this stuff. Okay, last ACT went well. Good. We're very happy the ACT went well. Best one yet? Hopefully 32. Thanks for the refreshers. No problem. I'm always paying attention. Yes, you are. I clearly am not always paying attention to what's happening with what you're all saying. 96 in 1 AP and 80 in 1. Yeah. Okay, so should all of them be 90s and up? I'm taking March school day SAT. Got it. They don't have... I mean, you want to do as well as you possibly can. It's not that... you know... It depends on the school. It depends on the rest of your application. Not having an A in the class is not going to keep you out of any school.
Is that not working?
No.
Oh, hold on.
It's got some weird thing.
Don't worry, I can fix this with a little bit of a...
Okay. I'm an 8th grader. Okay, but Spanish grader...
Should be good.
Yeah, Chesky, or Chess Sky. Good. If you're in 8th grade and you're already around here, good. Very good.
Good job.
What I would recommend for you, since you have lots of time, is 1, don't forget anything, and 2,
don't take any practice tests for a while.
yeah,
seriously, there's no
don't
need.
practice for the test. It's not a particularly good idea for you. But figure out, we talk about what's on them, so great. You should definitely pay attention to those types of things. I would focus on, especially in math, everything is...
There you go.
Kiss Cat Spacer. What are you at? Where you, Spacer?
Were you Spacer, maybe? I don't know, but hi, Kiss Cat 13. I don't know. Kissay Cat 13.
I don't know.
Also, I don't know if we've seen you before. Welcome.
Hello.
Feel free to ask your question about the SAT and ACT.
Yeah.
Let me plug this in.
Also, I think it was Sapien and I who asked, or maybe Robot Dancer.
What is Alta Ipsum?
Yeah, Alta Ipsum is our newest sponsor. You want to do this now? Or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they asked. Let's
Alta Ipsum means in Latin, it means summit yourself. Oh my goodness,
Keep
what is
going.
happening? It means summit yourself. It means make yourself the best that you can be. It's an executive functioning app. It's iPhone,
Cool.
all that stuff, and it's also on a computer. And it allows you to organize all of your classes and your homework, things like that. It allows you to track your grades. And the main, most helpful thing that it does is it allows you to plan out everything. So you put in a test that you have in 2 weeks, or you put in a term paper, and then it will create a study or prep schedule for you, and then you can customize it from there. But it allows you to keep yourself extremely well organized,
English.
which is awesome.
Sorry. They're asking what we speak. Talk in my space, your language. I don't know what that is, but I have a pretty good idea of what that means. I'm not a fan. But I'll type it in anyways. All right, you want to...
So with Alta Ipsum, you could put us in.
sorry.
So do your Alta Ipsum stuff with all your classes, and then you can add us in. Also, if you go to the website, which is down below in our panels, you can get the first month for free, which is cool. So you can try it out, put in all your stuff, and see how it helps. Yes, I don't know who Kiss Cat is.
I don't know.
Did I cover everything that I missed in that time where I didn't see anything?
Yeah. Are you
Okay.
still going on? Yeah, no, that's exactly what I thought they were saying. Honestly, I'm impressed with myself, but I'm also a little disgusted by what they had said. All right. Are you done with dangling modifiers?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. This is for college prep in the United States. Kiss Cat, if you're actually curious. It doesn't seem like it by the troll comments you made, but very few people speak that, or that watch us anyway.
Why do we do it? Because we like to.
Yeah, you can think of it as a giving back thing. I don't know, however you want to rationalize it.
Brady says it's because we convert free tutoring into nourishment.
Yeah.
So that's how we
It's
eat.
tutoring, teaching for the SAT and ACT, which are 2 college application tests, more or less. College readiness tests. I don't know, they say there are lots of things. All right. Oh, yeah. 3 is like an E.
Okay. Also, since you're commenting in the chat and everybody can see it, let's try to keep it mainly to questions about the tests that we can answer. Yeah.
You have the right to moderate.
Yeah.
So if they keep
saying
acting out. Cool. Fractions. How low level we want to get here, Levi? I'm assuming.
I think, times that are when it's harder to recognize what you're supposed to do with the fractions, because most people can do fractions in high school, but then they hit the test and then they get a fraction at some point and they freak out.
All right. So what is a fraction?
Yeah.
You didn't answer me, so you did, but it was vague, and I wanted you to say start here. Sorry, guys, I just got done with a 12-hour shift, so I'm a little bit out of it. Fractions, what are they? So it's represented as x over y, some value over another value, and it's just a way of representing division. Right, it's just another fancy way of it. Right? The old-fashioned division symbol is that. Let's make those dots slightly bigger so you can see them. Same type of thing, you have something divided by another thing. No, it's not a game. Sorry. It's someone who doesn't know what's going on. Okay. But also, I might need you to sit on the other side. All right. Feel free to just kick them, dude. I don't care. Yeah. They're just being ridiculous. Okay. So, you guys all understand that if you don't say something, but we're going to get into things that are a little bit more complicated. So if I had, let's just say 2/3, something pretty straightforward, and I wanted to divide it by another fraction, how do I do that? So Levi, throw me up a number here that's not gross, but it can be something a little crazy.
7/6.
Sure, 7/6. What do I do? How do I go about doing this? It looks like there's division over division, and I don't want to really have to take these into decimals. All my answer choices, A through D, are going to be given as a fraction. So what do I do? Well, if you think about it from the other side, if I had 2x equals 4, I want to divide 2 on both sides. It's not quite there, right? I get x equals 2. So if I'm multiplying, to get rid of it, I want to divide. If I'm dividing, right, if I also had x over 2 equals 4, I would multiply by 2. I get x equals 8. In this instance, I'm going to do both of those things, right? This is 2/3. Yeah, I'll leave it like this for now. I won't go there yet. So at this point, I'm going to think about it as 2/3 divided by 7 at the get-go. I'm covering this from me. Doesn't really cover it from your side, sorry. You could break it down to say 2/3 divided by 7, and then that whole thing is divided by 6. Right? However, it helps to think about it. But using the principles we learned here, I'm going to multiply by the 6 and keep the 7 as a division. So what this looks like is 2/3. You can flip this multiplied by 6/7. Those are the same thing. If there's any questions on that, let me know. I like to think about it as inner, outer. I'm more of a visual kind of learner. The two below, or the two inside, if you will, of this large sandwich. I'm also really hungry, so food analogies start popping up. That's why. Right, the bun, right, the bread of the sandwich goes together, and whatever you eat with a sandwich, I don't know. So ketchup? Do people use mayonnaise, mustard, Dijon? I don't know. But that's how I like to think about it. So that's how you know that these two are together and these two are together. You keep the 2 on top, you keep the 3 on bottom, and there you are. So 2/3 divided by 7/6. I can multiply this through and I get 12 over 21, which is going to be 4 over 7. I could have, well, that's what we ended with. Let's do a different example of that. There's also ways to simplify what I just did there, and we'll use a slightly more complicated example. And maybe it's not complicated. you might think that us going over fractions for juniors or sophomores, I guess technically not seniors anymore, might seem a little bit basic and even insulting, and sometimes you might be right. But you would not believe the number of students I've taught who are old enough to legally drive, who don't, yeah, thank you, who, I'll be here all week. We're here every week. Watch us, check it out. No, but who don't understand this, or who don't know how to add fractions, or don't know how to convert fractions, right? Fraction to decimal, but decimal to fraction, but also to just change it to so that you can add them or subtract them. So what if I had, let's keep it 2/3, and let's say that's multiplied by 27 over 16. So like I said, I have to multiply these across. However, I can kind of skip a step, or really do a step earlier than I need to. And I'm going to simplify this. I know that I could really think about this as one line here, and I have this. So how I like to think about this is that I have 3 and 27, and those are going to be divided by 3, so I get a 1 and a 9. I can also do that with a 2. I get a 1 and an 8. These are both 1, conveniently, because I made up the problem to be that way. I get 9/8. Now, if I didn't do this, I'd have gotten 54 over 48. Is that what that is? Yeah. Which also would have gone to 9 over 8 if you divide everything by 6, which is also 2 times 3. Convenient? No, I don't think so. I think it's there for a reason. But hey, I'm just a tutor. There you go. Yeah, guys, if you have questions on this, let me know. Don't feel ashamed. There's people many times older than you who also don't know how to do this. There are also many people older than you who do, and they're all engineers, so it's fine. Or they're teachers and tutors. Oh no, I erased fractions without really thinking that far ahead, Levi.
Shoot.
I know. All right. So, for those of you who are unaware, this is, you should be, but hey, if you're not, we do this 5 nights a week. It's free SAT, ACT tutoring. I don't know. The point is for you guys to ask questions. We do go over topics at the beginning of each stream, rather briefly. You can check all those out in the calendar. All the topics we'll be covering, but the main point is for you guys to ask questions about what you need help with. We know what students tend to struggle with, but maybe you're not a typical student. Odds are you're not. Odds are you are, but I'm going to say you're not if you're watching this. So let us know any topic you have issues on, or just any questions generally about the tests you have. So adding fractions, again, hopefully you guys know how to do this. If you do not, that's fine. That's why we're going over it. 2/3. Let's stick with the pattern. And let's say, let's make it harder. 4/7. If I have this right here, I cannot do, this does not equal 6 over 10. All right, that's not how this works. It's not simply left to right. It'd be super nice in terms of solving it, but it'd make a lot of things in the world not work right, and that would suck. So how do we do this, right? We said that this isn't right. What we have to do is find a similar denominator, right? Least common multiple, LCM, all these acronyms that you've maybe heard before and you forgot, like I did until I started tutoring, right? You know how to do it, you probably don't think of it in those words, and that's fine. But I want a value between here that both 3 and 7 can go into. So I know that the smallest number that they both go into is 21. Right? So I'm still adding them, but now I've converted them to 21. So how did I do that? Well, I multiplied 3 by 7, and I multiplied 7 by 3. Now this will always work. If you have 2 numbers in the denominator and you want to find a common multiple of them, you can always multiply them together to find that answer. However, it may not be the cleanest number, right? You may have a value where you can multiply by smaller numbers on either side to get there. If I had 3, let's say 1/3 and 2/9, I would only have to multiply the left side and get 3 over 9 plus 2 over 9. Make sense? All right. But for this one, you do have to multiply them together to find the easiest one. So I also have to multiply the top and on both sides by the same number. So now I get 14 and 12. I'm going to add these together, and I get 26 over 21. And that's my answer. And I leave it like that, because fractions are nice, and decimals can get gross. Any questions? Subtraction's the same way. We talked about division. Division is just multiplication. You just flip it. And multiplication is just this times that and that times that. We go into exponential fractions and exponents, unless that's a little bit up there.
Well, maybe do the question type that people just, it's, here's this big fraction, and then they give you answers and they ask you which is equivalent to the given fraction. You know what I'm talking about? SAT does it more?
No.
Okay.
I mean, where they say like highest to smallest, they do that, or they say
No,
what
no,
number is in between them, or.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Well, no, I didn't just do that, but
that's not a bad one.
I don't know.
I was talking like 2x squared minus x plus 6 over x minus 3, and they say here's your fraction, and then they say here are 4 other fractions. Which one is equivalent?
Oh, yeah, we can do that one.
Okay, I will
make up some stuff.
Yeah.
The correct answer.
That's not going to be pretty. I didn't try to make.
Well, I mean, this is just polynomial long division, though, right?
Yeah. Why don't you
there's 2 ways to do it.
Yeah.
So, okay, for example, we can be given something like this, which is also fractions and much more complicated than what we were working with, but it's a similar process. So we said that it's the top divided by the bottom. That still remains true. So I'm going to write 2x squared minus x plus 6 here, and I'm going to write x minus 3 out here. So I have this divided by this. What do I do? Right? Why is there an x? Why are there all these values that just confuse me? Because it's there to confuse you. Great. What we want, though, what we focus on with this is the first value, right? Whatever is attached to the variable in polynomial long division. I want x to become 2x squared. So what do I multiply it by, right? I go up here and I say this whole thing is going to be multiplied by some value, and I'm going to get 2x squared minus something, or plus something. Well, to go from x to 2x squared, I'm going to multiply by 2, because that'll give me the 2 out front. That'll give me the 2x, and then I multiply by x again, and that'll get my x squared. Fairly straightforward. I now have to do the same thing to 3, though. So I now have minus 6x. I subtract this whole thing, and I say that 2x squared minus 2x squared, that is 0. And then I say negative x minus negative 6x is a positive 5x. Then I bring this down. I have plus 6. I continue this, and I say, well, how do I get from x to 5x? That's simply a 5, and it's a positive value, right? I don't want a negative value, so I now have 5x minus 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract this again, and these are going to cancel out, and I get 6 minus a negative 15, so this is going to give me a positive 21. At this point, I'm stuck, because like I said, I'm wanting this value, the first value we have that isn't 0, and this value to be the same. But I have an x here, and I don't have an x here. My variable, I don't have a variable, so I just have to leave it. This is actually my remainder, with a remainder of 21. What does it mean to have a remainder, right? Well, let's just go ahead and say we have 2x plus 5, so we still have that. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I assume you're talking about.
Just finish this.
Oh,
I gotta take this. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was finishing with the remainder. What does the remainder do?
Yep. Okay. So this remainder here is, and Dragon, we are about to get to your question. The remainder here is still being divided by x minus 3. You're still trying to divide by that, but you've already figured out that it's this thing. So you have a remainder. You can write it as 2x plus 5, remainder of 21. You could write it as 2x plus 5 plus 21 over x minus 3. This is the same thing as if you had 9 divided by 4, which is also going to be 2 with a remainder of 1, or it's the same thing as 2 plus 1/4 And we also write this as 2 1/4. So this is nothing different from what you already know. You know that 9 divided by 4 is 2 1/4, or 9/4. Here, this is the same thing. This is the same as this thing. So what should tip you off on these questions, this is mainly on the SAT, is that they will, I have seen this so many times, they will give you a question that says, here's this fraction. And then they give you 4 answers and they say, which of these elements, or sorry, which of these, oh my gosh, expressions, yeah, which of these expressions is equivalent to this expression? And if you see something like this, where on the bottom you have that x minus 3, and then here you have the x minus 3 left over, and there's a thing here, do polynomial long division or plug in. Okay, Dragon, this is you. Are you here? Can you say hi in the chat? While I erase this stuff. Hey. Okay. Give me a sec, Brendan had to go, so I have to read this question after erasing. I apologize. So Bob, did you take? I'm sorry, I always get confused. Did you take the ACT this weekend? And are you? It looks like, are you SAT or are you doing both? What's your situation test wise? Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Bummer. You know, I have to ask more straight up yes or no questions, because then I get confused by the answers. Okay. Did good on English and science, and sorry, our stuff is all messed up. There we go. But I did bad on reading and math. Okay. And this looks like, I don't know what this looks like. What is this question? Okay, so this is English. Okay, give me a sec to get through this. And do you want 16 or 17? Do you want both? Just gonna start. If it's, is it the vocab one or is it the number 16 bigger one? Oh, I gotta figure this out better. 17, great. Okay, we have inevitably dirt, decay, and other imperfections within the tombs made tracing blank and often ugly. Okay. This is hard. It's interesting. So we're talking here about what? There's an expedition and they're excavating stuff. They publish a book about it. So it's difficult. So they're tracing. They're doing excavations and they're tracing stuff. And we are choosing between erratic, fickle, temperamental, I always forget the temperamental has an A in it, in the middle of the word.
Wait, did you already go over the fun way to solve the problem? I'm assuming you did.
No, I did not, like the plugging in.
Yeah, you go from the back end and you flip it around.
No.
You go from the answers forward. All right. Oh, hey, Bobo.
But that's because we got a question from Bob.
Oh, all right.
This is actually a hard question, though. Okay.
What is it?
It's right here, and I actually have figured it out yet. So we have
17.
this excavation thing, and we're saying that imperfections within the tombs made tracings, and I guess tracings is tracing them back and figuring stuff out. But the teenage Carter was in no position to argue with his superior. Despite his misgivings about this method, he dutifully followed the
Tracing wall art. So the
making
tracings
of wall art.
Yeah,
so there's wall art, and we're tracing it.
There you go.
And, okay, so there's stuff in the tombs, and it makes it hard to trace. So, does that stuff make it erratic, fickle, temperamental, or unsettled.
Hmm.
I would say
Gross.
I think unsettled doesn't work. Unsettled
No.
is much more emotional, and if you're it's emotional unsettled, lack of being settled, so that's no good. And then we have made
this
tracings.
is dragon. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't need to look at it.
Made tracings.
Temperamental is more like like I would feel that way, right? Or you
Yeah,
would describe a person as being.
Yeah, temperamental
temperamental.
is more personified.
Yeah, you'd
right?
personify these.
Yeah, and I wouldn't personify the tracings exactly. So I don't like temperamental very much. It's not erratic. I don't like. Couldn't you say a rock is unsettled?
Yeah, but in a different context. That's like earthquake, or it's tipping, or it's something like that, and it's not
Yes.
quite the word.
And also, we're not describing rocks.
Yeah, the
We're
tracings.
describing tracings.
So it's a drawing. A drawing
Yeah.
is going to be erratic, fickle, temperamental, or unsettled.
Yeah, so a drawing or a tracing would not be unsettled. And it's the tracing itself. Is this from an official test? I'm just wondering. Or is this...
It looks it.
Yeah, it looks pretty official.
The bars.
I don't like erratic. I don't like... This is hard. This is genuinely
I
hard.
like erratic.
You like erratic?
It's not like... Yeah, I mean, it's... If someone's erratic...
Yeah.
I was going to make a Bo Burnham joke, and it's not okay on stream.
Okay, there you go. Don't do it.
But
very good.
That's what I think of.
Temperamental...
Sorry.
I don't like the wording of this sentence.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if they're saying... So tracings is a noun here. It's not a verb. It's not a verb, so it's not the act of tracing these things. It's the tracings themselves. So I think you wouldn't describe an actual tracing as temperamental. You might describe the process of doing a tracing as a temperamental process, but that's not what's happening here. And then fickle...
It's just liable to change. Like, it means
it's...
But it's usually like...
Describe like a person.
It's still... they're all...
It's still too personal.
Tracing... Yeah, they're all about people.
I would say erratic. Is that the answer?
Hopefully. I like
This
erratic
is
the best.
hard.
I like erratic the best. The rest of them mostly describe people.
Yeah.
Or they would. You can also describe a person as erratic, but for the most part... moment of truth, boys.
You chose unsettled.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so unsettled seems to be nice with rocks, but that's specifically not what we're describing. So this is the hardest vocab
In context.
question that I've seen in a while.
I agree.
Yeah, these word choice ones can be very difficult. In this case, it's very difficult. What you wanted...
My dude Luke Vaughn was in.
So these are word choice questions. 4 adjective ones, which is like this question. You want to specifically figure out what you're describing. You want to consider physical versus theoretical. You want to consider human versus... I've never spelled this word in my life.
Animate. Inanimate.
Inanimate. Yeah. Inanimate. Those are the main ones. This will get you far. This got us through this question. We got rid of unsettled because it's great for rocks. I like the idea there, but it's not what you're describing. And then temperamental and fickle are more human, and we're talking about tracings, which is inanimate. In this case, I don't think any of them really matter, physical versus theoretical. Any questions on this? These are very, very simple questions, right? You know exactly what you're doing. You don't have to think super hard about what they're asking you to do. But it creates a hazard of... Okay, good. It creates a hazard of kind of throwing one of the words at it. And that's not what you should do. You should have a specific approach every time. So basically, erratic means it's going weird. Yeah, it means it's all over the place. So a person can be very erratic. If they're erratic, they're scatterbrained, and they're doing this, and they're doing this, and they're doing this. But it could also be a tracing. The tracings are off. So things are not where they're supposed to be. It's not following a nice linear path. Yeah, so in this case, that's what erratic means. Yeah, this is a hard question. It took me and Brendan working together to be sort of confident, not even fully confident. Yeah, it's hard. If you have any other hard ones, let's definitely do them. Sometimes I don't love the hard ones from non-official tests because it's not that they are giving you a tough question to work through. They're giving you a question that they have put in some confounding factors that actually make it, impossible for whatever reason.
That you wouldn't see on the actual thing.
Yeah. Okay, is this another question from Dragon, or is this the same one? It might be the same one. Keep doing it. Okay. I'm going to take this. Different. Very good.
Oh, I'm going to look at it.
You got it?
Well, maybe. I just want to look at it.
Okay.
Why do I commit beforehand?
Well, because...
Wait, which question?
Ooh.
They didn't give a number. Which number?
Which number? We got many. Ooh, some of these are fun. 33.
33, despite these auspicious statistics.
What's the question type here, Bob? I do actually want you to tell us what are they asking you to do here, and how should you go about this question?
I just about got so mad at you.
Why?
I thought you were calling me Bob, and I'm like, that's never right.
Oh, no, don't worry.
You did it this weekend, so I was like...
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Connecting ideas. Yes, transitions, connecting ideas. And that is what you need to do. And so don't just plug in. It's not a just do this, put it in, see how it goes. That's your... If you have... No, honestly, there's never a good time for that.
I will say this is a more difficult question as well, because auspicious is maybe not in your normal vocabulary.
Yeah, if they throw in tough vocabulary, just, it's tougher. Okay, so when you...
sounds... Auspicious, just the nature of the word makes it sound like it's a negative connotation.
It does, because it's like
suspicious.
Yeah.
It's auspicious. That just means it's good.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that, definitely would have messed you up.
Faux show.
That's actually how I remember it means good.
Because
it sounds like it doesn't, and I've been tricked too many times.
Okay. Because it's a transition question, what I recommend you do is you very, very specifically identify the two things you're connecting.
I got Robot Dancer's next question.
Okay, very good. So I'll do this one, and I will slide my way through it. Okay, so thank you for giving us the previous context. That's good. I am just going to read through this.
Hey, Encryption.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
You still need to watch more of that show we watched this weekend.
Oh, so good.
It's Nick Kroll and John Mulaney.
I really shouldn't.
What? Dude,
Okay.
No, because there's not tons of time. There's not tons of time. It's not tons of waste of time.
For one, the number of farmers markets more than quadrupled between this time and this time, rising from this to this. There are now also 6,000 CSAs nationwide, and annual revenue for direct-to-consumer agricultural sales exceeds $1.2 billion. So the idea here is farmers markets and direct-to-consumer. It's going up. That's what's happening, right? It's going up. That's our first idea, I think.
Yeah,
Now-
32 I think would be flourishing. I think. So, instead of
Okay.
unpopular, if you were reading from that high up.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, and now here's second idea. We're skipping the transition. Those who decide to become small farmers face considerable obstacles. Oh. Obstacles, you say?
Oh, no.
Oh, hello. So, Bob, is this... So I haven't even actually read, so let me just finish. But let me know if this is, as far as you got and you saw this distinction here. If you want to become a farmer, that's not great. Nearly 80% of young farmers today did not grow up on farms, according to the National Young Farmers Coalition. The tasks they face of purchasing land, acquiring capital, and learning skills can be onerous. Still, as the new... Okay, and then we move on. You eliminated C and D, so let's see. I think this is definitely very contrasting, right? all these things are great. There's lots of good stuff. But if you want to become a farmer yourself and you haven't been one before, it's really hard. That seems... So I said but. I myself said that. So let's see what's the... So you got rid of C and D. So let's check
Can I
those
tell you
out.
why I don't like D?
Mm-hmm.
Because it says since small farming is a complex profession. First of all, what is small farming? Being a small-time farmer does not mean you're small farming. I just, like, that doesn't even... As someone who grew up around farms, whoever made this test, it is wrong, and I kind of hate you for saying this. For small farming. Nothing small.
Okay, so since
it also just
small
doesn't make sense. It's not what you would say.
Is a complex profession. Yeah, okay, so yes,
but no one does it say it.
That definitely connects to what comes later, which is it's hard to be a small farmer or a new farmer. It doesn't really connect super well to the previous idea, which is farms are booming. So I don't like D for that reason. So I'm glad you got rid of it. Now C.
Environment.
In addition to the environmental benefits of small farming. Yeah, good. C is wrong because of the word I think in addition to. No good. We're not adding something to the previous thing. We are contrasting. Now, B, we have even though the number of young farmers is rising,
which they kind of talked about, right? The farmers markets are growing, so it has to be growing somewhere. Sure.
That seems decent. I'm okay with B. And then 33 is despite these auspicious statistics.
Big words.
So despite these positive statistics, those who become small farmers face considerable obstacles. Okay. I think that A has a very strong connection to the previous paragraph. And it says despite and auspicious, and then we get into small farmers face considerable obstacles. So I like that a lot. B, it's not terrible. It's really not. But I think with B, you're making a jump that isn't necessarily true. You could argue that the number of farmers markets has gone up, and what is CSA? Actually, it would be good to know what a CSA is. Do you know what a CSA is?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. My farming knowledge failed me. It doesn't say young farmers. Exactly.
Right. So we're making a jump with B that isn't necessarily there.
Could be, but we don't know that.
Yeah. It's really not that bad of an answer.
But it's not the best.
It's not the best. So good you got rid of C and D. Hopefully you don't feel like whenever you're choosing between two, you always choose the wrong one. That's just some confirmation bias right there because you only go over the ones.
You still have it.
Do I?
Yeah, I gave you a pink earlier to cover for me.
At first, auspicious in a religious context. Maybe you've heard it in a religious context,
Maybe.
but I don't think that's an inherently religious word.
No.
I don't
know the etymology of it, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably talk about your deity. It's auspicious.
Yeah, I think...
Favorable. And
yeah.
Generally good. All right. So, robot dancer. Let's go ahead and talk about that question you had that we got to unpack a little bit because we are not the people deigning to give out these merit-based scholarships you speak of. However, some insight. In terms of these scholarships that schools give, they're very clean cut about what they're looking for. So lots of colleges will say, if you get this, you get a scholarship. They might say there's a limited number of these, and that can mean anything from it's a rolling basis, so you just got to do it first, or you then have to have a part of your application that is better or convinces them that you need it more than the other person. I don't know why I did so many air quotes. I just was kind of feeling it. But yeah, robot dancer, are you still there? Hopefully, say something. Wow, my arms look abnormally long when I do this. I guess, they are long, but I just feel weird like that. Is that what a condor feels like? With the wingspan of like 20 feet when it's fully grown? Just like... You seen that?
Is that a bird?
It's
I'm going to look it up.
ginormous. A baby one is like this tall and has like a 10-foot wingspan, dude. It's insane. No, look it up. Look it up. I saw a video the other day. I knew they were big, and then I saw a video, and I was freaking out. Anyways, robot dancer. So, our merit base, you're always here. Thank you. Also, you might be confused, thinking this is my right side of my body. However, you'd be wrong. is the left side of my body. So my heart is, somewhere like right here. We always put it here, but like our heart's like really kind of, whatever. Thank you. Are merit-based scholarships based on overall application or just SAT and ACT score? Lots of times it's going to be your SAT, ACT, and your GPA. It's kind of a combination of both. At least on lots of colleges, they have, presidential scholarship and this and that, and they kind of call them whatever they want. And then, you have to meet these things, and then you either get it or you are eligible for them. And there's each school, each college will tell you, whether or not it's you get it, you got it, or you get it, you get to apply. And then it becomes something of an application process where then that matters. I would say just depending on what schools you're looking at, read into it. They're pretty open about it. Worst case, you just email or call into the office and say, hey, that might sound weird to say, hey, does the application actually matter? Do I just have to show you guys that, I scored what you wanted me to? But couldn't hurt to ask. Use a fake name. Say you're like Levi Jennings or something. That's such a silly name. No one would be named that.
Yeah. Don't do that.
You can say your name is Slam Duncan. Like, I thought my nephew was going to be named, but Darren chickened out, so that didn't happen.
That's a valid chickening out, I think.
I have a friend whose last name is Matic, and he wants to name his son Otto. Automatic, guys. Automatic. It does make sense, right? Automatic. It's a good name. Because that's what they were referring to there, and not
for sure.
What I had talked about with the applications.
For sure. It's actually why Robot Dancer asked about applications, so that
early action versus early decision.
The difference or the usefulness? Okay, so interesting stuff.
Decision.
Early action is, there's restrictive early action. There's early action. There's early decision, and I might be mixing these up. Early decision is if you get in, you go. You've made that decision before you applied. You can apply to early action schools, and then early action is just you're applying before the normal January 1st-ish deadline. So if you do a bunch of early action and then an early decision, you have to do the early decision. You're not allowed to do multiple early decisions because then you would have to go to all of those schools. That would be very expensive. And obviously that doesn't make any sense.
That'd be difficult. Then, you get so many degrees at once like that, guys?
Yeah, and then restrictive early action is when you're not allowed to apply elsewhere early, but you're not required to go if you get in. Usefulness. Generally, the acceptance rates are higher. I've actually never seen any situation where early anything is worse for you than regular anything. It's just your decision. They're going to take a higher percentage normally of the early applicants because those early applicants are making the choice to apply early. They're demonstrating more interest. So they're more likely to matriculate if they get in.
Yep, which is surprisingly a big issue. I think my class was supposed to be the biggest at college, and we had like 2,000 people get in, and only like 1,650 ended up going. Right?
That's good.
You want to give up California sun for MIT dreariness? Yeah. It rains there, guys. Why would you go?
Yeah.
Anyway, I hear it rains. I've never been, but I hear it rains there.
Have you never been to Boston?
No, I've never been to any of the cool places.
It's like New York, but not as good. No, I don't think there's necessarily money that's tied to applying early, but might be wrong. It would be on a school-by-school basis. If you get in early, what it does allow you to do is you have more time to apply for scholarships.
Instead of writing other college application essays.
Yeah.
Which Levi loves to do.
I do love helping with college application essays. I've never actually helped with scholarship essays, but I assume it's, pretty similar. Yeah.
They also don't want you to be fake. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Robot Dancer, keep them coming. Anybody on Facebook, YouTube, we also get your comments, so let us know. If you don't know, I will say this too many times throughout my life for sure. I probably already have. But we do this 5 nights a week, every week. And except this week, we're doing it 4 nights, so that's fun.
Why are we doing only 4 nights, Brandon?
Because, and I learned this today, that Valentine's Day is Thursday.
Valentine's Day is Thursday.
And that means one of the 3 of us is going to be busy. And so the other 2 of us may have asked off as well to just be lazy. But hey, I'm not pointing fingers. Who edits the videos? I don't know. I don't remember.
It's Bird who edits the videos. Any other questions we're about to answer about this? About
that better make it into the gag reel.
Yeah.
Us talking bad about you better get in
yeah.
there.
Any other questions?
Also, I've realized I'm the butt of most jokes in the gag reel by now. Like every time. If you guys haven't seen the gag reels, it's for example NYU. All right, they're worth watching. We'll get back to that. For example, NYU, New York University. For those of you who aren't aware.
Yes, NYU's financial aid is not very good.
Yeah, no, they're one of the most expensive schools, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
It's so expensive.
They are really good, right? They're very competitive.
It's a very good school. It's very competitive to get in, and yeah, if you're worried about the money,
you're still going to be worried about the money.
Look around at other schools.
Shop for other classes.
Gosh.
Shop around.
Yeah,
It's the
NYU's
most
an awesome
expensive,
school.
isn't it?
It's around there. I think
it's like over 70, isn't it?
Reed College is super expensive.
Never even heard of that.
It's where
Granted,
Steve Jobs went.
I haven't heard
That's
of a
the
lot
only
of these
reason.
schools. I'm
Right.
not from here.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Rutgers was. I thought it was the newspaper.
There are more schools in the
And that's
Northeast
Reuters.
than there are people in North Dakota. I don't know.
That was made up.
Probably.
North
I mean,
Dakota's
yes,
not a
it
bad
was.
place. Well,
I'm not saying it's a bad place.
Wyoming has like a full 500,000 people in the whole state. It's a good place. Fun facts. Some guy got a full ride at NYU because of his 1500. I would say that's probably not why they got it.
Yeah, it seems like a simplified statement. I'm sure the 1500 helped.
Right, but I'm not. I can promise you that they didn't just say, "Hey, they got a 1500. Our average is a 1440. Let them come free."
Yeah,
It's not how that works.
If you do very well on the tests and you have good scores, you're way more likely to, win those scholarships. But you got to put yourself in a position to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He had an 85 average. I think he had a good essay.
Oh, maybe certain programs
Essays.
have more money to give out, and maybe he got into a
Essays.
certain program.
Yeah, and it depends on the scholarship. If it's just, who's a Smarty Pants scholarship, then yeah, the scores and the grades are the thing. But maybe it's...
But a 1500 is not going to be the highest score
Yeah.
of anyone applying to NYU.
That's very true.
Promise you.
It was was it a specified essay or a specified scholarship?
Yeah, maybe it was because of it. Like the essay was to get a scholarship.
Yeah, was it for people with 3 arms specifically, or surfers, or there are so many specified scholarships that you got to find the ones that apply to you. 3 arms is a thing.
No, I was laughing at the surfer thing.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I don't know why I went to that one.
Like,
Oh, actually, I do, because I thought 3 arms, losing an arm, shark bite it off, surfers.
Bip, yeah.
Yeah.
You were going too fast there to really worry about it. Okay. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. The gag reels we put out every week, and by we I mean Brady. Hilarious, and it's almost always at my expense.
Yeah.
So it's like SpongeBob where he holds up the mirror. You just got to learn to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
And I get to, because Brady's hilarious, and Brady has lots of good material of me being an idiot on live streaming.
Yep.
It's not TV. I want to say on live TV, but I think TV sucks.
Yeah.
Not the television. It's a great concept.
I've seen acceptance. Thank you for keeping us on track, by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
I've seen acceptance letters, and it says, "Congrats, we are offering $30K for those who do we have to apply, or do they just give it to you?" Don't know.
Don't know. It may be that they have need-based financial aid, in which case those schools are just letting you know, hey, you filled out your FAFSA and you sent it to us, and
Yeah.
here's what we can pay. Here's what we can offer you.
It's on a school by school basis.
Yeah.
If you are wondering, ask the school.
Yep.
Just call their admissions department. This is the best time to ask questions of the admissions
absolutely.
department, because
They're pretty much
in September, October, November, December,
they're dying.
it's going to be way tougher, and they're going to be less friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, where have you seen these on Reddit or something like that? Because they don't give you all the information, right? The person who said they got a full ride because they got a 1500 is probably just trying to rub in someone else's face that they got a 1500 and they're happy about it. But they're not talking about the tons of other things they had to do to get there.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, the thing is, Brendan actually doesn't have to pay anything to stream with us.
yeah, most people have to pay. He's your friend.
Yeah.
Well, then ask him what he really did. Because it's not just the 1500. Or her.
There are probably other factors. Maybe there's not, but then it's luck.
Then it's just a lottery.
Because maybe it's not. But there are lots of things that affect that.
Yeah, there's too many factors you probably don't know about, that I definitely don't know about, and that Levi couldn't even comprehend, that probably went into this decision-making process. But if it makes you feel any better, at least you and I can comprehend it.
Yep. What? Yeah, don't touch me. You're going to get dumber.
That's how it works.
Yep.
Spreads like the plague. Speaking of spreading like the plague, Levi, tell them how they should spread us like the plague.
Cough on people.
Oh, I just wanted you to say spread us like the plague, and I thought that was going to be it.
Oh, spread us like the plague.
I thought it was going to be a lot of repetition.
Oh,
Sorry.
I apologize.
No, it's all right. It's like alliteration, but it's not. It's just alliteration of the same thing, the same phrase. There has to be a word for that, right? Drunk cosmonaut. Hey, how are you guys doing, mate? Hey, how's it going?
That wasn't us. No idea what you're talking about.
First of all, you didn't make me. I really wanted to. Last time I brought milk onto the stream, Levi got really mad at me. I was trying to eat, and milk is the drink of choice for pretty much any food I consume. And he was just very mad at me because it's a large thing and it distracts people. So honestly, I'm quite thankful that you guys enabled me and allowed me to be able to do that by overriding Levi. So I appreciate you, Mr. Cosmonaut. Also, how are you? You got a good signal up there? Do they know about your problem? Living in New York City, I heard of TAP. Is that only for SUNYs or private universities also?
Don't know.
No, I'm not from here.
Honestly,
sorry.
That type of thing, Google it. It will be there. The schools will tell you if you. They have pages that just give you all the information about what you want to know. What does
that stand for? I'm just thinking of TAPS, which is a degree at college, which is Theater and Performance Studies.
Yeah.
And all I can think of is theater and performance. And I'm assuming that's not what you're talking about. But also, thanks for tuning back in, Mr. Cosmonaut. Again, it might take a while for the signal to reach all the way up there.
It's going great. Yeah, Drunk Cosmonaut, do you have any...
SAT, ACT related questions?
Or children or parents that are taking the SAT or ACT?
Did we get scholarships?
We got financial aid.
I have financial aid in athletics, but athletics.
Did you get any scholarships or no?
For
you got the offer, but then you took the financial.
Yeah, I mean, I had the offer for athletic, but you can't have both athletic and academic or financial needs.
For hours.
So you take.
Or is that? Everywhere?
I think it's everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to choose one or the other, pretty much, financial aid or athletic, and financial aid was like way more. Did you? Yeah. Well, good. Keep it the work. I'm gonna creep and learn by proxy. Hey, we appreciate it. If you know anyone who needs tutoring, let them know.
Yep.
Also, I want to subscribe just for that emote. Honestly.
The milk?
I love that. I'm a milk guy.
You are a milk guy.
You know, I haven't had milk in a day, and it hurts.
Wow.
I haven't been able to shop in a week.
That is tough.
Everything's been closed by the time I get home, and everything closes before I leave.
Oh.
Okay, but don't do it to this account. Don't do it to this account, because I have a personal account. If you're going to do it, seriously, I really appreciate you. Don't waste it on Nerdish. Waste it on... I'm just going to write this up here. So it's going to be similar... That one.
Or gift Robot Dancer. That would also be whatever you want.
Oh, if you want to gift a sub for us, yeah, I thought you meant giving Drumsy us as a sub.
Way too excited about your milk, dude.
I am. It's a dope emote. We need to get some of those.
Hey, Robot Dancer.
Oh, hey, Jessica.
Question for you.
But we appreciate you either way. Is the glass of milk half full, half empty, or just is the glass too big? It's a real philosophical question, guys. 3 gallons of milk, okay.
Then, here's what we're going to do. So you have this thing. Okay. This is a cylindrical, normal, right cylinder glass of milk with a diameter of...
Yes.
4.
All right. Yeah. Oh, all right. So it's...
Oh, gosh.
For those of you on YouTube and Facebook, don't worry about it. So it's this, right? Followed by Brendan, Brady. This is also in order of importance. And then Levi, is yours Levi Teach, or did you get it to be Nerdish Levi?
Nerdish Levi.
Okay.
Okay, so, hey, Robot Dancer, you're here. You're always here.
Appreciate you, Drunk Cosmonaut.
Brandon has a glass of milk.
That sounds funny. Why am I drowning in it?
It's not you. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why I have someone drowning in my milk?
Gosh, it's not a person. Don't worry. You have a glass of milk, and it has 3 inches of milk in it.
Oh, it's a tiny
And
person.
then you drop in, for whatever reason, you slip and you drop your very small collectible toy item thing. Thank you, Drunk Cosmonaut. We appreciate
you.
it. And the water level, when you drop this little toy in, goes up by 2 inches. And I would like to know, what is the volume of the little toy that you have dropped in Brendan's milk? We hope you cleaned it first. And
I'd be upset.
Do you know how you might figure this out, Robot Dancer?
Or Drunk Cosmonaut.
Or Drunk Cosmonaut.
Have some fun with it. I'll get
I hate
this.
it so much.
I don't know what happened the last week.
Keep forgetting to Google it. 999 watts.
Well, we're not doing electrical
close.
engineering, and that's
Very close.
power.
Very close. Was that your response to the question of what is the volume of the little guy, or do you know how to do this? I learned this like a month ago.
In 8th grade?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you're doing volume.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the SAT and ACT are from middle school,
So
and then
Chess
people
Guy,
just forget.
honestly, Chess Guy, then we're just really helping you with your like day-to-day stuff.
Cool. Yeah.
Also, you're taking Spanish. We can speak it on stream,
But
but we can't teach it. I do not trust myself to try to teach it.
what is that for me?
That is the diameter.
This is the diameter of the glass.
Be consistent.
Very good. I should have been consistent.
There you go.
Lots of exclamation.
So what do you do? Does this work the same as with water? Yes, but not necessarily. So the thing has to be more dense. Same volume, but it has to be denser to fall through water or through milk because it's thicker.
Yeah.
Right? It is more dense.
But yes, it does.
So
work
it
the
would
same
work
way.
similarly, yes. But again, for it to sink all the way through it'd have to be slightly more dense than if it was just enough to go through water.
Yeah. So there is there are two pretty. Both of these ways are logical to figure this out, and there's one that's quicker, one that's slower. You have no fudging clue. Very good. Okay. Well, you can figure out how much volume is in the cup of milk before you drop the little guy in. So let's figure that out. We have the radius of the bottom of this is 2. And you also need to know the equation of the volume of a cylinder. So volume of...
That's an A. Let's make it a V.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You have such good ideas.
Dude, I'm the one who should be off it right
Volume
now.
of a cylinder is pi r squared h, which logically makes sense. You're finding basically the area of the disk at the bottom, and then you're just putting them all on top of each other and multiplying by height, and there you go.
Boom. What he said.
So, before the guy is dropped in there, we're going to have the volume 1, let's say, is going to be pi times r, which is 2, squared times the height, which is 3.
Mm-hmm.
So the volume is going to be 412 pi.
2, no 6, no 12
Cubic
baker's
inches.
dozen. You know that I'm crazy for these cupcakes, cousin.
You love that song, dude.
Yeah, I know, and Brady could sing it with me, but you just don't have fun.
I don't know it as well. I apologize.
Lazy Sunday. Chris, all right. Why is it 3? Because
So
the height,
we're
the original
starting
height.
at 3. We're saying this is the volume before we drop the guy in. And then, if we find the volume after we drop the guy in, that change in volume has to be the volume of the guy, because that's the only thing that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense logically in your noggin? Pi.
Still 2.
And then now the radius is still 2, as Brendan said. I thought you need the h of the whole cylinder.
Nope.
No. So the whole cylinder could be miles tall. It doesn't matter. And Brendan would actually like that because
Just
it's milk.
straight milk.
But you don't need it. You just need how much you have. You do need the radius, though.
Mm-hmm.
So here, this will also be 2 squared from the radius. And then the height has gone up to 5, so we'll multiply by 5. So the second volume, after you put the little guy in, is 20 pi. Which means that the difference...
So go ahead. I'm going to write over here a third way of doing this while he's doing that.
Third or second?
I probably meant second. Another way of doing this. Better.
Mm-hmm. So that means that the volume of the guy here is going to be equal to volume 2 minus volume 1. So it will be 8 pi inches cubed. And Brendan, I assume...
I'm going to do the subtraction
quick
first.
way.
Yeah. So if you do this all the way through, you notice that you're taking the volume of the bigger one and subtracting the volume of the smaller one to find the change in the volume. Well, we know from looking at this that this right here stays the same in both equations. So our radius, right, the area of the circle of this cylinder, right, is going to be the same no matter what we do, unless it's like a cannon, we're crushing it, but we're not. So at this point, the only thing that is changing is the heights, so I can subtract them to begin with. So I now have that it's still pi times 2 squared, but I'm now going to say that that is multiplied by h2, which is 5, minus h1, which is 3. So I'm going to continue solving this out. Pi equals, or this equals 4.
Focus, Robot Dancer.
Where do you
focus.
buy your shirt? From us.
From us.
That's, come on. We do need to set something up because otherwise, yeah. 2, and then we get, wait a minute, Levi, is that what you got?
That is very similar to what I got, although this is in cubic inches, this is in chickens. Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, so what Brendan did visually is he just took that middle cylinder.
Which is 2 inches. All right, he gave us the answer right there.
He took that cylinder and found the volume of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you are actually interested in buying the shirts because they're cool, this Nerdish is not actually written forwards.
It's written backwards.
It's written
because
backwards.
we flip it.
Yeah. But
Which is why it's cooler than any other shirt you could possibly buy on the market today. Yesterday, though, there were some cool shirts. But today, this is the coolest one.
We have eliminated our competition.
We get competition.
But yes.
It must be.
Any questions on this, Robot Dancer? Or any questions about volume or cylinders or happiness or math things, English things, our personal lives that aren't happening on Valentine's Day?
I need to tell you about that.
I think Grace is going to come over and hang out during the day.
Grace.
You met her. She's just one of my friends.
I met a lot of your friends.
Yes.
I met most of your friends in New York.
She's...
Okay.
Will it show up on the SAT? Yeah, I've seen this
Very
more
likely.
often on the ACT, but yes, this is a concept that is... Contextually, it's something that you should be able to reason through because it's a change, right? The volume... and now, we didn't give you the word problem. The word problem might make it a little more clear. You wouldn't have the picture, very likely, but you'd have a word problem that says the volume has changed from this situation to this situation, and that might have made it clearer.
And when they do not give you an image, draw one. Draw one.
Yes.
Dude, that donut I walked in with was like this big, and it's like $1 down the street.
Really?
$1.
Oh.
I had extra change, and I walked in, and I was pulling out all my quarters. I'm like, how much? Like $1. And I went, oh, okay. I just shoved it back in and pulled out 4 quarters. I'm like, deal. I can play that game.
Wow, that dropped so fast. This is now mainly water in the bottles, so it's really
Message in a bottle. Come on, we all play guitar here, all right?
Discord, por favor. Oh, you will be favored por.
Well, I'm waiting for it.
Are you... Wait, no. I'm sure Robot Dancer knows where the Discord is.
Yeah, not confused about that. Discord?
Nothing's come through yet for us.
Unless they're just trying to sow discord. Ah, there it is. Robots Dancer. There's a couple here.
Ooh, very exciting.
Okay, I'm going to ask 38. Can you make sure we can see the whole thing there? So this relationship is known as Little's Law. Oh, I think we have enough. N equals RT. We've done this one. I hope that someone gets my N equals RT, where N is the number of shoppers, R is the time, hold on. Can you give us just a little bit more? Can you tell me what R and T stand for? Just because it's not shown on this. I've done this one before, but now I have to remember what it is. Robot Dancer. Thank you. At any one time, the number of shoppers at any one time is given by the relationship N equals RT. You're talking about the time they spend there, so on and so forth. Which one do you want us to go over, or do you want both? dancer. Are we human or are we dancer? Anyway, robot dancer, 37, 38. That's what we want to do. And also, what do those stand for? But the owner of Good Deals store, we'll start with 38, opens a new store across town. Foolish, but maybe it's a good idea. For the new store, the owner estimates that during business hours, an average of 90 shoppers per hour. Shoppers per hour enter the store, and each of them stays an average of 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So this is going to be our T, this is going to be our R, but I think that's supposed to be in minutes, which is why they underline hour on the actual thing. The average number of shoppers at the store at any time is what percent less than the average number of shoppers in the original store at any time? Do I need to have done 37 first? That's foolish, SAT. Okay, 38. We'll get to that then, apparently. That sucks. 37. The store owner determines that during business hours, approximately 84 shoppers per hour. Okay, so it is shoppers per hour. Makes a purchase, and each of these shoppers spends an average of 5 minutes. In the checkout line. At any time during business hours, how many shoppers on average are waiting in the checkout line to make a purchase at Good Deals store? So N equals RT. The issue here is I don't know if N is in terms of minutes or hours. So Robot Dancer, if you could let us know, because it's cut off in the question you sent us, what that is, that would be dope. So it may be slightly off your Robot Dancer. While I'm waiting for that, this is an interesting question. So if you can tell us what the units are for these or what they're supposed to be in the given question, that would be very helpful. So maybe slightly off your usual topic, but do you think you can calculate the density at which an object the size of Pluto would become a black hole? And what its gravitational pull would be, assuming you're all versed in physics? Well, Brady's definitely much, much better at physics than either of us. What would the mass have to be for something to absorb itself? I don't actually know. I mean, many, many million times what it already is, but...
Ooh, gonna...
So R is supposed to be shoppers per minute. Thank you.
Yes, probably. We could solve that drunk cosmonaut, but we would need lots of information, and I'm sure
Thank you, Robot Dancer. Yeah, that'd be fun, but it's not something I...
We need the equation. I don't know.
Yeah, I would need to look it up to see. I mean, I would have to Google a bit, but then we could do it, sure. Let me know and I'll source it. Dope. Do you need that for... You'll source it. Do you need it for... Wait, they'll source, like, they'll citation source? That's my interpretation.
Like, go get this stuff.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There you go. Just a thought exercise. Yeah. All right. I like it, but let's finish this now that we have this. Okay, so in shoppers per minute. So what I want to do is actually convert R for both of these to shoppers per minute. Right? So I have N equals 84 shoppers over 1 hour. That was nothing that I wanted it to be. Hieroglyphics. Let me get specific, and then I'm not going to finish that song. This is going to be multiplied. So at this point, I could put in T, but I want to leave that over here, times 5 minutes. What I want to do is change this from hours to minutes. So I have 1 hour, right? Because I want them to cross to be divided by and multiplied by, and it's 60 minutes, right? So what happens in 1 hour, if I want to know what happens in every minute, it's going to be divided by 60. So that's what I'm doing here. And now I'm multiplying by, in theory, this is just over 1, so the minutes cancel here, and I should end up with a number of shoppers, right? The average number of shoppers, N. So N equals, let me see, 84, 5, hold on, divided by 12, 7? Boom. Thank you, Christian Castellanos. You like that? You can read it because we printed it backwards. Also, should be able to salsa this Saturday, 2 p.m. the 2 p.m. class. You in? I'm in. Anyway, all right. 84 times 5 divided by 60. Yeah, it is 7. Good. Mental math, guys. There it is. So right now we know that we have 7 on average, right? 7 shoppers per minute in the store. The next question, maybe we're gonna need a little bit more than that, Chris. He never goes by Chris, by the way. Come on, Christian. We'll figure it out. So this next question, 38. So 37. Let me make sure that was the end of the question. Yeah, there you go. 7. So now we're going, the owner of Good Deal Store opens a new store. We have 90 shoppers per hour. They're on average in the store for 12 minutes. It is what % less than the average number of shoppers that we originally had. So this is a little bit more difficult. We're doing the same exact thing here to get another value, but then we're going to find out what % it is less of 7. So it should be smaller, but let's do this. So n equals, well, it should be bigger maybe, but 90 shoppers per hour. My gosh. Per 1 hour multiplied by 1 hour over 60 minutes multiplied by 12 minutes just over 1. Minutes cancel, hours cancel. We get 3 over 2. 3 times 6, 12. Let's double check that though. 90 times 12 divided by 18. Yeah, no, I wasn't there. It should be 3 to 2. 3 times 6. Whoops. Yes, not 2 times 6. There we go. 18. So the question is asking, Robot Dancer, so far does this make sense? By the way, I'm going maybe a little quick here, but make sure this is what we're at. Did you forget to do this step right here? Is this what messed you up? Or was it maybe the percentages? So, how did you get 18 and why? Do you understand this? I did the same thing here. 18 isn't the answer. 18 is just n. I now have to go and find the %. So I've done the same thing, right? They're saying the average number of shoppers in the new store is at any time is what % less than the average number of shoppers in the original store. I don't like that. It means it should be less. N equals RT. Right? 84 are there for 5 minutes.
I said yeah.
Did I just do it wrong?
No, I think they're...
All right.
Robot Dancer made a mistake. I think you're good.
Oh, hold on.
It's 45 in the beginning?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, no, I'm not going off 7 anymore. It's going off a given 45. So equals n naught. For you physics people, that means the initial value n naught. Thanks for that. That's why you read all of the text. Nice. So there are 45 shoppers in the store at any time on average, but this new store is only going to have 18. What % less is that? Well, you have 100% equals 45. So you have something else equals 18. Just divide it.
I'm just...
Yeah, I'm finding out. So we start at 45. We now have 18. What percentage less is that? So I want to find the percentage from 45 that I'm subtracting, right?
Yeah,
That
so
is the wording?
You're subtracting 27, which is 9 over 15, which is 3 over 5, 3/5. So it's 60%. Wait, so it's percent decrease from 45 to 18? Is
Yes.
that, what is that? And that looks like a 60% decrease.
So is this going to give me...
Because if it's the
40%?
percent it's gone down, then there's a difference of 27.
Yeah. So this is where I'm at. So to get to 0.4, I subtract 0.6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Teamwork.
Go ahead.
How do you guys get? You read that real quick. So, I now have. Sorry, read it. Well,
out loud. Okay.
No, sorry, don't do it out loud. That's what
Got
I
it.
like.
Yes.
Get ready to answer
Yes.
that while I do this. So, to finish this, so I have 18 over 45, which is 0.4 or 40%. That's what I. Oh my gosh. So it's 40%. We started here. To get here, we ended at 40%. So you have 100% minus x equals 40. So x is going to give us a 60%, right? That's where we get our answer from. I have to take this, and I'm not happy about this one.
Got it. Okay. How do we get the motivation to study? As I recall...
You don't want to ask me.
Yeah. I had a tutor. I didn't have a tutor for math, and I therefore never studied for math. I had a tutor for the verbal stuff, and I did way better on the verbal as a result. And so I did that homework. To get the motivation, there are a bunch of ways you could. I'm not saying that you can just create it out of nothing. Maybe give yourself some sort of reward system, or actually, Alta Ipsum, has a point system. You can listen to whatever this says. Maybe you can either treat studying like your job and base it on a reward system, or find something to get passionate about in the material you study. Yeah, you do that. Maybe find a buddy who's at a comparable level, or who's better than you in math but not as good as you in reading and writing, and you help each other. And then don't talk about your scores necessarily, because then that might be a little weird. But that might be good. Something to make this either to incentivize the studying positively, or to because you hate it, or to make the studying itself a little bit better, or the money of scholarship. I mean, scholarships are legitimate. Now you have to apply to those as well, but another good option. There's no way to. Well, no, I guess you could do that too. Yeah, I mean, school is extremely exhausting. That's absolutely right. But maybe that's the issue. Maybe there are ways to make school a little bit more enjoyable, so that you don't feel as gassed after that. Also, drunk cosmonaut, I think you need an unbelievable amount of mass in a very small space to make a black hole, right? So that the pull of gravity is ridiculous, right? So that even light can't escape. But I don't know. I doubt a planet like Pluto would. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't become a black hole because it's not very big to start with. So my guess is that it would have to get extraordinarily small. Maybe there are other factors, but I would assume that you need to. There's some threshold of density that you need, and I have no idea what that is, but really, really dense. Because stars turn into black holes sometimes, but I don't really know how. Probably has to do with whatever. Alta Ipsum is an app and a website. You can do it for free for a month, so might as well check it out. It might help you work with your stamina after school and that type of thing.
Yeah,
so the idea would be, how much mass do you need to pack into a space the size of the planet I'm working it out?
Yeah. Because at a certain point, the mass starts to make itself condense to a point to where it then all. Yeah,
really, 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 really massive. Because I doubt planets normally become black holes. Stars do sometimes, I think, but
stars.
Pluto, which is a pretty small planet, you need lots of stuff. You gotta take a lot of stuff and put it in there.
Dwarf stars and then neuron stars are the ones that end up.
Yeah, something like.
So they're the smaller stars, but it's because they've gone and just compacted down. So they take the same mass and then. I don't know, guys. Ooh. Honestly, the last time I studied that type of physics and that type of stuff about space was, ready for this? Mm-hmm. 7th grade.
7th grade. Very good. It was cool. So, to give yourself breaks for studying, it's not just a study. That's not necessarily going to help you. You need to study smart, which means what we recommend is you take a diagnostic test. If you haven't taken the one that we offer for the ACT or SAT, you can do that. Free. It's free. It tells you everything you need to work on. And then from those things, we give you your high yield topics. And those are the topics that cause the most wrong answers, right? You take those things and you hammer those concepts. Sorry?
Am I good?
Yeah, it's fine. You hammer those concepts and you study only those. So you're not Yes.
Yeah, it's been up for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's just nerdish.com.
Yep, Nerdish with the 3. If you have any issues, let me know.
Again?
But it should be good. I had a couple people run trials on it, and it seems to be doing its thing.
Nerdish.com. There you go.
Also, make sure, if you're going to do it, make sure you hit submit on your answer key before you hit done on the page, or you're going to not be happy with yourself. And don't come crying to me because then I've told you so. It looks pretty? Thanks, because I hate doing that stuff. And it took time, and that sucks.
Yeah, so diagnostic tests, you don't want to just keep doing tests. The tests are there. You're going to burn yourself out. As you said, you feel. So try to stay away from the tests as much as possible. Use them to identify what you need to work on, then work on those things. Ask us questions, that type of thing, and then go back and do another test. But I mean, depending on when your test is, take a couple of weeks between tests that you do. Don't keep hammering away at different ACT sections back until 2006. Don't keep doing every single SAT section. You don't need to do that. For the reading section, honestly, if the reading section is hard for you, read books, read articles, that type of thing.
It can be www. It can be any.
Yeah. I know I wrote NE and then I wrote M in my pursuit of writing Nerdish.
Nice.
Yeah. But thank you for having faith in me.
I guess I just should.
Yeah, give that a shot, Robot Dancer. Make sure that's a test you haven't done. Otherwise, it's not going to help you too much. Although it probably could. If it's been a long time, you're going to make similar mistakes. Any other questions on that? We are out of time for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Take your time doing that test.
Also, Drunk Cosmonaut, if you figure it out, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I'm also interested in that now. We'll tell Brady. Oh, dope.
Yay.
All right.
Have a good night. Hey, Robot Dancer, if you're exhausted now, don't.
Maybe not the best thing to take the full thing, but yeah. Also, just, I'm going to give you a little pro tip here. Write down the answers as you go on a sheet of paper, so just in case something crashes, it doesn't save the answers for you, because we're using Google Form embedded into it, and Google Form doesn't let us do that. So
you don't have a timer on there, right?
No timer. Okay. No timer. So you're fine.
We recommend you time it.
Where did you put the... Got it.
Just do the test on a piece of paper and then fill it in later.
It's a full test.
It's a full test.
So, I mean, you could start it and then just leave the web page open. Yeah. Oh, hey. Awesome.
Very good.
Ooh, what are you going to teach? What are you soon to be teaching?
Physics?
Something math related?
Robot Dancer.
I wanted to say history now.
You can do there's no need to do the whole test all at once. So do the English section. Is this SAT? SAT, right? Okay, so do the reading section. I think they're SAT. Okay. Do the reading section. Then 2 days later do the math, and then 2 days later do whatever. Yeah.
Yes! Let's go! Did you hear me? I said I kind of, like, after doing all this physics and math stuff, I kind of wanted to be a history buff. Boom! History's my area of expertise. Oh, that's awesome.
Very nice. No, this is
a legitimate SAT and ACT test. We are not making this up. This is not us trying to act like Kaplan and all those other people who are full of crap saying, we're just as good. They're not. Yeah. Because they can't be.
This is a single full-length test. We didn't take questions from different places. This is a test. It is indicative of a score that you would get.
Yes.
So we didn't mess with it at all. Because we know we're not as good at making the SAT or ACT as the SAT and ACT people.
And the other people just are lying to you and saying that they are.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the official practice tests.
That's why it may not help if you've already done it.
But you honestly plug in your answers. Spend 5 to 10 minutes if you still have the answers you had for that. Plug them in, and it'll now tell you the things to practice off of that.
Yeah,
in much more detail than Khan will give you, much more detail than the actual SAT ACT will give you. That I can guarantee, because we took time to do that. There you go. Absolutely. All right. We will see you guys mañana. Chess Sky, if you're still here, that was for you. But we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Night.